Today we head towards Brazil with the national spirit of this mesmerizing country in South America. Welcome to our Cachaça Pitu review here at Bespoke Unit. It's time to pour a glass of cachaça with today's video review here at Bespoke Unit. As always, we're using the Bespoke Unit Liquor Formula, which is a quantifiable review matrix for this review. You can download a blank copy of this review sheet for your own tasting purposes, and you can jump right to the bottom of this video in order to see the final score of Cachaça Pitu and the entire written up review format in case you do not want to follow the entire video. Pitu is an absolute all-time classic when it comes to the category of cachaça. Now in general, cachaça for most people is somewhat related to the rum category, which is semi-true, I would say, because actually it's an entire category and a type of spirit all by itself. What differentiates the two, besides the countries where it comes from, is that cachaça is made entirely of freshly pressed sugarcane juice and not molasses like most rums that you would find on the market. However, as you very well know, there are rhum agricole from the former French colony islands, where you would also find the usage of freshly pressed sugarcane juice. Cachaça, however, as I mentioned, is the national spirit of Brazil, and most often the cane spirits do come from an area called Minas Gerais in the inlands of Brazil, whereas of course most people, when they think of Brazil, will think of Rio and Carnival and Sao Paulo and the entire lifestyle that comes with it. Pitu is a sweetwater crab, which you can see on the label right here, native to Brazil. Hence, it became the symbol and the emblem of this particular type of spirit. Other than that, there's not much to be said about the bottle. The label and the design overall is slick and neat. It's nothing fancy or special. It doesn't look all too glamorous or extravagant. You have a metal screw cap on top here, but keep in mind, this is your everyday pour. It's quite a simple, affordable spirit that you would primarily use for the caipirinha, which is, of course, the iconic cachaça cocktail and the cocktail for Brazilian people. Undoubtedly, #1 spot. You have a recipe for the for a caipirinha here on the back as well. In general, I've realized, me being a bartender, there's so many people and so many opinions about how a proper caipirinha should be made. Even Brazilian people have all sorts of opinions on whether you shake it, which type of sugar you use, and whether it's crushed ice or cubed ice. We're going to go into that in probably a separate video, and I'm going to do a caipirinha guide for you. But for now, let's just try this beautiful spirit and see what it's all about. The liquid is crystal clear. It's obviously white. It has a certain resting period to it, that's for sure, but no age indication and no usage of oak wood that would color the spirit and give it a brownish hue. So the clear spirit has a certain viscosity to it that I would describe as medium. The legs are running down the side of the glass rather fastly, and with 40% alcohol by volume, which are also indicated on the label down here. This is probably not the most viscous or thick and oily spirit in general. In terms of the nose, it's a blast of freshly cut green grass. It's a blast of hay. It's a blast of fresh cane, fresh sugar, and a very greenish funky, almost herbaceous quality that I get right here. It has also a little bit of a sweaty note underneath, so that funkiness somehow transcends into an almost meaty, juicy, rich, leathery smell that brings a certain complexity, but it's somehow interwoven with a lot of sweetness, with caramel, even though a very light caramel, and a sprinkle of castor sugar, I would say. So the overall nose is sweet, it's herbaceous, it's a little floral, but very green and almost like unripe bananas, and a little bit of limey, zesty freshness, which already indicates and steers us towards the caipirinha cocktail. It's not overly complex. It's rather crisp and clean. There's a little bit of an alcoholic note in the back. But again, this is a pouring cachaça, simple for everyday usage, for maybe something like a deep punch or the caipirinha, or a long drink with a fruit juice of your choice, or any fizzy mixer. So let's give it a try, let's give it a sip. Clean, fresh. The mouthfeel is light, maximum medium. There is a little bit of citrus, there's a little bit of lime zest, and then again, the castor sugar and the sugar icing sort of comes through with the green unripe banana I already experienced in the nose. And then towards the very back, there is a distinct herbaceousness that to me somehow speaks tarragon, thyme, and also that funkiness again, where it almost fades into a meaty, leathery aftertaste. It's a little difficult to pinpoint or to put my finger on as to what the actual taste and aroma profile of that is. I mentioned the word sweaty, and I'm not meaning that in a negative way, but it has a rather characterful finish that is a little musky and slightly fusty. So let's take another sip. Sweetness up front, a little alcoholic burn in the middle, and then the more complex green leathery note towards the very back. The finish, I would say, is short. The balance is certainly there. The complexity is medium at best, but it's a fun spirit to drink. It's rather uncomplicated, and it gives you a clean, fresh finish and aftertaste. And you can already see when you sample this neat, it's perfectly suitable for cocktails and long drinks. Speaking of, yes, the caipirinha needs to be on the top spot of cocktail recommendations when it comes to cachaça. Obviously, I love to pair this with fruit juice and have a zesty, fresh long drink with either freshly pressed watermelon juice, or of course, if you're down in Brazil, the quality of fruit is stunning. So you could have pretty much any fruit there and juice it and put it on top of the Pitu. A petit punch that you would normally mix with a rum agricole could be an option here as well. And because of that very characterful nose and aftertaste, I definitely recommend that you try a white Negroni with this cachaça as a base. So you could take something like Süß as a liqueur base, take a dry or a white vermouth, and then the cachaça, and stir down a traditional Negroni with equal parts of those three ingredients. Because of the zesty freshness and the fruitiness, that unripe green banana note, fruits are also a wonderful finger food snack. In this particular case, I went for raspberries, which were just in season, and I think that they go very well with that grassy lemongrass freshness that I detected in the olfactory and gustatory perception. And in terms of cigars, what grows together goes together, or at least thematically, I chose Davidoff's Escurio, which features Brazilian tobaccos. And it sort of encompasses the Brazilian lifestyle and the rhythm and dance that the Brazilian people have in their blood. And it was also a wonderful contrast pairing, simply from a gustatory perception, because the Davidoff Escurio is quite rich. It has a distinct spiciness, even though a mellow underlying core theme, and the Pitú gave it some freshness, some zestiness and liveliness, and acted as a flavor enhancing component underneath. Packaging overall impression: simple, minimalistic, clean, not much to be said there. It's a very affordable bottle. You can use this every single day for all your cocktails and long drinks. It's probably not the most prestigious bottle that you put in your back bar to show off, but you will have it in your speed rail for all the bartenders, or you grab it and pour it into all your drinks. That's it for today. Grab a bottle of these, mix up some fabulous caipirinhas, get a little Brazilian feeling going back home, and I'll see you next time here at Bespoke Unit for another spirits review. Until then, be safe, be healthy and well, and with my very best wishes and spirits. Bye-bye.